also just a small town girl. Make some noise for Lizzie Kirch!
It's crazy, like, how many of my peers have started to do real grown-up things, like they're getting married and buying houses and having babies at the rate of a particularly sturdy Irish peasant. And I like to think they got some inspiration from me. Like, they looked at my life and thought, nope, I want whatever the opposite of that is. I'm currently using one of those pumpkin trick-or-treating buckets as a shower caddy. And my usual diet consists of a couple Sour Patch Kids and a Wellbutrin, washed down with one of those Monster energy drinks that can, like, dissolve roadkill off asphalt. Now that I am getting older, social events, there's always a lot more parents around, and there's always that one couple. You know them, they're going on and on about the benefits of homeschooling and the harms of yellow dye number 5, while their absolute nightmare of a son, Kyler, does unspeakable things to his pet sugar glider upstairs. Don't think too long about it. If the Terminator busted in right now and said, "Come with me if you want to live," I'd have to think about it for a minute. Nothing against the guy, that's just where I'm at in life. So comfortingly, I am a social worker. Got into it for the money, Avi. What's the opposite of a sausage fest? A clam bake? That's what social work is. And sometimes when people hear what I do, they go something along the lines of, "Oh, you must really like people." No. I'm a social worker, not a golden retriever. And for those of you that do like people, become a case manager, go to Bath and Body Works during their semi-annual sale, and then look me in the eye afterwards and tell me you still believe in the inherent good of humanity. I know this may come as a bit of a surprise based on my stellar attitude, but I was recently laid off. I worked in hospice care, and there just wasn't enough new patients in my territory to justify my position. In other words, not enough people were dying around me. Like, how was I gonna fight that? Like, beg my bosses, like, "Please, just give me 6 more months, I'll do whatever I can to raise the mortality rate in Madison." Like, put asbestos in the Parmesan graters of local Olive Gardens. Say when. When you're here, you're dead. But when I was in medical social work, I had a nurse tell me I have the veins of an anaconda. So I've got that going for me if I ever get into intravenous drug use. And not to second guess a well-trained medical professional, though I do believe that is the new American pastime. But I don't think I actually have large veins. I think they just look prominent because of how pale I am. Look at me. I look like a Victorian-era ghost child. And it's not like I want to be super tan or anything, but I would like to look more like a Victorian-era ghost child that died after a brutal summer working on the docks. Do we have any true crime fans in the house? Yeah, true crime is like the white woman's version of a stiff drink, so I'm right there with you. And I need alternatives to drinking because I only have really 2 types of drunkenness. One where I just want to go to bed right away, and another where I want to start home improvement projects that involve power tools. But what gets me about these programs when it's like a more historical case and the narrator's like, "Remember, this is 1932. There are no cell phones, no social media." Like, thanks. I was wondering why the Lindberghs didn't just check the Ring doorbell footage to see who took baby Charlie. I was watching one and they were interviewing a detective and he was like, "We found brain tissue on the bullet. And that's when my gut told me something was wrong." I'm no detective, but the matter being outside of a brain would have been my first clue something ain't clean in the buttermilk. But imbibing too much true crime can have unintended consequences. For example, every time I get into my car now, I have to look behind me, make sure a murderer hasn't snuck in, is waiting to pounce. Which is fucking crazy, because I barely look behind me when I'm merging onto the interstate. And it's not like I want to be so pessimistic all the time, but I just know in my heart of hearts, I'm gonna be one of the 3 people killed each year by a vending machine falling on them. Did you guys see that recent news article where 50% of the men surveyed said they'd be able to land a commercial jet in an emergency? Oh, I love the confidence. 3 out of 5 of my male Uber drivers miss my driveway. All right, I'm gonna give it back to your host. Thank you guys so much.
One more time for Lizzie Kirch.